my daughter Tia, she has just turned 6 2 days ago, and she has a chromosome translocation. So we found out just before she was born that she has an extra little piece on her number 3, and it causes delay. She's unique in the world so far and rare. There's nobody like her. So we don't know from year to year what's going to happen. She's just developmentally delayed, so intellectually and physically. So my experience of getting help with that, because we like to do the therapies, we like to do occupational therapy, we like to do speech therapy. I actually really like to go to the chiropractor because I find that really helps her as well. And you know, all the things that come into your life when you've got a special needs child, we just fund ourselves. My husband, I stay at home and my husband has to pay for that. So the only thing that we were able to find that we could access was the carer's payment, which is $50 a week. I looked into perhaps trying through the Cerebral Palsy Association, but the doctor would not give me that diagnosis. My daughter is not autistic either, so we can't go under any autistic diagnosis. So there really was nothing out there for us, but yet she wasn't walking until 1.5 years ago, so she didn't walk until 5 years old. So she needed physical therapies and occupational therapy, and then the speech is not coming yet, but she needed communication therapies, you know, and learning sign language. So I would take her to play groups, which once again were expensive. I went to a Learning Links play group, and that was something like 300 and something a term. But it was worth it for me to take her to these places. So yeah, when I really think about how much money we've actually spent, and then you've got the nappies as well, because she's still in nappies at age 6, the baby wipes, like just everything that comes with having a special needs daughter is just like, it's really expensive. I actually don't want to think about it because it's so much money. Yeah. So when we were able to be part of Plumtree, we were able to be part of Plumtree because we started early intervention classes with the government. Through that service and through another mother who told us about Plumtree, we were able to access Plumtree a therapist, and that was once a week for the year before school. That was so exciting to me because here was a free therapist coming to my house. We were able to spend a whole hour together doing proper therapy with my daughter, and that was really exciting for me because my life is busy. I've got my other 7-year-old daughter. We're running around all over the place. My husband has his own business, so he's not really there to support me. And to have a whole hour of focusing on my child in my own house was amazing. Yeah, so through Plumtree and our wonderful therapist, Chrissy, she knew that we had been funding all of our own therapies and everything for Tia, and she said, Susan, we can help you access $1,500 to go towards something with her. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So we discussed, you know, what we could use that money for, and Chrissy was able to explain to me that there was a fair amount of freedom in that choice for me as a mother. We could look at her physical needs. So, for instance, a trampoline was definitely on the wish list to help her with her balance and her core strength, and obviously learning how to stand and all the rest of it, and also have fun with her sister and play some games with her sister. When it comes to a trampoline though, you want the safe one. And the safe one is the most expensive one, of course. So those things go on the back of the list because you can't get them yet. So there was the trampoline idea, and then Chrissy also explained to me that we could perhaps use the money to help my husband and I maybe have some time off as well, because we don't have family support, we don't have family that live close. And I have actually just recently gone through cancer and chemotherapy and radiation and all of that. So for us to have some time together, just a weekend perhaps without the kids, like that was an amazing idea as well. And then we looked at Tia, and I said, you know what, she needs an iPad, a little mini iPad. And I had heard about the app, which was a communication app called Pro-Lo2Go, and it's the kind of app where she can tap the picture and it will speak for her, and she's able to communicate to her teachers, you know, at school, or communicate to anybody really that comes into her life from now on. So, but once again, it's $250 for the app. It's $750 for the mini iPad with the amount of storage that you need to have an app like that. So that's what we ended up using our funding for, and that's what we're using. I was just saying, you know, what happens on the journey is you get presented with this special needs child. For me, it was at birth. For others, it's at about age 2 or whenever they discover. And you do get told this, wherever you go, to playgroups, everything, it's like, we need to plan this, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it hit me one day and I thought, I don't know what to expect with my child. Like with my other child, yeah, she's going to go through school. She's going to have hopes and aspirations. She wants to go to university. She knows that she would like to be a journalist one day. You know, things like that. With my little special needs daughter, it's like, well, we don't know. Let's just aim for happiness at this stage. So the whole process, like the idea of making a plan for her, is actually quite foreign compared to your average child. So it's exciting when you can come across a practical idea. When you come into therapies and into Plumtree, you know, that was very appealed to me so much because it was practical and it met my needs. And speaking with my therapist every week, because it almost became a counselling session as well, I was able to start seeing a plan for Tia. So that was really good. I sat down with Chrissy, my therapist, and we put together a plan. We needed to look at Tia and think about what is the priority at this stage. You know, clearly she has, we spoke about actually using the funding for occupational therapy, which is helping her physically. And we spoke about getting a trampoline to help her physically. And then we looked at it further, and I decided that probably her communication is the most important thing at the moment. So we moved the trampoline and the therapies to a more long-term goal, and the first thing we needed to look at was her communication in time for school. So we decided that to get a mini iPad would be perfect, because it needed to be something that's nice and light for her to carry around in her school bag. And there is the Pro-Lo2Go app that you can get, which is the communication app, where she can actually just tap on the pictures and it will speak for her, so she's able to communicate with her classmates or her teacher or whoever comes into her life. Now the Pro-Lo2Go app is $250, so it's not something that it's been easy for me to just buy. And also you need an iPad that actually has that amount of memory on it. So the iPad is $750 in itself, so that it can actually have all the things on it that she needs. So that's what we ended up using the $1,500 for, and that's been wonderful so far. We first discovered that there was something happening with my child at 36 weeks pregnant, so we had the amniocentesis. We found out the day before she was born that she had a chromosome translocation. So it's unique, it's rare, it randomly occurs. So when she was born, I didn't know what to expect. She spent the first month in special care. She had holes in the heart. She was having blue episodes. And I just thought, what am I taking home from the hospital? I was scared of my child. And then I said to the doctor in the first week of her life, I said, how do I know what level of brain damage my child has? And the doctor said to me, the word is not damage, the word is design. She is designed differently, and it's up to you, her mother, to discover how. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is the most beautiful thing that could have been spoken over my child at the beginning of her life. Because then everything from there on was to be celebrated. You could hear us in France when she did something. You know, we were that excited in our family. So yeah, so it just started her whole journey that these children are beautiful creations and to be celebrated. So yeah, one of the funny things is my older daughter, who is seven and a half, so she's a year older than her little sister. She said to me the other day, for the first time ever, she said, Mum, I was embarrassed when Tia did such and such. And it took me 24 hours, and then I came back to my daughter and I said, you know what? We don't get embarrassed in our house. I said, our motto is going to be, we celebrate differences. So whenever you feel like you want to be embarrassed about something that she's doing, we will show the world, no, we celebrate that she's different, and everybody around us can learn to celebrate her too. Getting embarrassed is a waste of time and energy. I discovered that a long time ago when I was a teenager. You might be embarrassed, but those people forget about it 2 seconds later. They're busy in their own life. So my daughter, yeah, she's just turned 6 years old, and she's lying down in the middle of the pavement as we're walking through the street. That's unusual, you know. But we stand there, we have a little giggle, we go, Tia, is that what we do at the shops? No, come on, let's go. And you know what? The people around us, when they see me doing that with her, they don't look at me in a horrible way. They don't get nasty with me. I actually get the smiles from people because we just keep it calm and we just go, she's actually quite funny and we're growing through this stage. And Chrissy was able to explain to me that we could have funding perhaps for my husband and I just to have some time together, to, you know, have the children looked after so we could have some time together. Or we could have funding to get the trampoline, as I mentioned. And that would be wonderful for the two sisters to be able to have some sibling time together and enjoy some time together doing an activity that they can actually do together. She also mentioned that perhaps we could get the funding to help cover for Tia to just have some respite care elsewhere so that my husband and I could spend some real quality time with our older daughter as well, because the other siblings always miss out because the special needs sibling is the priority in the house. And you know, so my daughter Alira was so excited when she heard that. She was like, oh, I can have some time with mum and dad, you know. So there were so many options for us to consider. I mean, eventually we went with the communication one because that was our priority. But it was actually exciting to be able to think, oh my gosh, we could actually have that break that you need, you know, that you'd never give yourself, because that's at the very bottom of your list. You know, you've got so many other things to do. I mean, you know, when does somebody come along and say, here you go, here's some money, go, take yourselves, just have some quality time with your husband? That never happens.